I'll tell you all about it. That was real good. That was money, first of all. Let's do another.
What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight. This is the Real Review 3000, and we are here with another Gospel According to Chris. Just so you know, if you have been watching lately, you know we have this lovely contest going on, and we're going to talk about that really quick. These 3 books could be yours. Check out my Twitter at chrisknight5150 and help me get to 1,000 subscribers by April 12th, 2020. And I will spin a wheel of names that your name will get put on if you like and retweet my pen post on Twitter. That's at chrisknight5150. Hello, Nindroid. How you doing? Okay, so today we have Rosetta Allen on, and we're going to talk about the things that drive us to do what we do. Not cars, not motorcycles, but literally the things that are in us that make us want to do what we do. And that could be a lot of things. Some people it's family, sometimes it's kids. Sometimes it's just a love of something that we do. I like to talk, hence I like to do YouTube. You are going to be one of the, where's the mute button? Let me just find the mute button real quick. We're going to put that right here. And yeah, but let's talk about this. So you do art, you draw, you paint, you do pictures, you do photography. Let's rephrase that. Pictures didn't sound right. What are some of the things that drive you to do those things?
There's a couple things. One, honestly, I was told many times in my life that I'd never be able to do anything that takes extreme precision because I shake when I try to do things because I grew up with seizures. And my hands tremor when I'm trying to study them. So I was told I couldn't do it, so that meant I will do it.
Fair enough. I mean, that does a lot of that type of motivation is for a lot of people. You can't do this, and so what? I mean, tell a kid, don't do this. What's the first thing a kid wants to do? They want to go do it. Now
I'm a kid to him. You see how he treats me?
No, I'm not. I'm stating a generalized idea there.
I know, with your hard time.
Wait, there's that word general again. I'm using that generalized a lot. But is that the only thing though that drives you? Or is it
that's part of what got me into wanting to learn it.
Okay, so when you learned it though, did it continue and bloom into more than just that?
Well, when I was learning, my artwork was actually mostly with my grandfather. He was one of the only ones who could handle me because of the seizures, because of the hyperactivity and stuff. So when the whole family was together and people would be complaining about how big of a pain I was because I was too loud or I was too hyper or I couldn't do this, he'd sneak off into the garage with me and do projects and teach me color theory and stuff for hours. He was one of the most interesting mixes of redneck military and cultured art enthusiast you'd ever meet.
Interesting. So kind of like the French.
No. And you're going to get hurt.
Oh.
Grandpa was one of a kind of that stuff and his dedication to others. So it was always, he wanted me to learn things. He wanted me to grow, and he pushed me to be artistic, I think, because he kind of saw the issues I was always going to have.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know that you're part Native American. So does that come into play for this? I mean, like your photography, you do things for, you do bald eagles, things like that. That has probably a lot of significance to that side of you, right?
Eagles are representative of connection to the Great Spirit, guardian angels and stuff. So there's a side that's obsessed with them. Yes, I grew up in the mountains in very much a home where my dad was very in touch with wanting to be a part of his native side, where my mom loves native culture. So it was very ingrained in me growing up. And that's why I went to the nature when I started doing the photography stuff. It's also why I sit here and do things like, you know, paint artwork on bones and stuff like that. That's the tribal side. But it's also that growing up in the Black Hills and being around the tribal culture, being around Crazy Horse and stuff, and seeing family artifacts, family artwork going back in the tribe for generations in the building there, in the facility, seeing my roots on display there, kind of always pushed me on it too.
So when you first started doing this, okay, let's go back to when you were learning how to do this and stuff. What was the first medium you started working with? Was it drawing? Was it painting? What was it?
It was more painting on 3D kind of stuff and statue ceramic kind of stuff like behind me.
So, okay, yeah. And when you left doing that, was the first thing you went to?
I don't know so much I ever left it as I keep trying new things to go into more. I've made a lot of jewelry. I've sewn Renaissance gowns. I do woodwork. I used to be a carpenter, and it just kind of keeps developing into another phase because there's another facet I want to learn. Right now, I'm very much into my canvases and my drawings. So,
where do you get inspiration for your stuff?
Nature, faith, metal, rock, heavy, loud music in my ears while I work.
Okay, interesting. No, you know, like I used to do reproduction of album artwork, like the album covers and magazine covers and stuff like that. And when I was doing that, it was my love of the music or the particular thing, like Heavy Metal Magazine. I used to do some of the, you know, I used to draw that stuff. I used to draw the like Dragon Magazine. I mean, I don't know how many people know about that. I don't even think it's around anymore, but it used to be my favorite thing in high school was to read that dang magazine because I have this fascination with dragons. But, yeah, I see it.
No, dragons are a large part of why I got into art. I've been making ceramic dragons, drawing dragons, painting dragons, coloring dragons, everything I can with dragons since I was a teenager. So
yeah, I did a lot of that, but it was all around my what I loved, you know, music, things like that. And as I went along, you know, when I was younger, I always thought, you know, hey, I'd like to be a lawyer or a doctor, but music was always a real big thing in my life, and I always came back to music. So I started DJing and I started playing in a band and I started doing things like that to satisfy that like of music and that want to be around music. And the longer I went into it, the more that I was just like, this is what I want to do. And I did a lot of, you know, different things, but my drawing was always centered around music a lot. You know, just like I said, the album covers and stuff like that. That was where I got my inspiration. And, you know, I would say the way I handle my YouTube stuff is very much on that too. You can kind of tell the things I like based off what I do videos on. I don't do videos on just any one particular thing. I don't stick with just Star Wars, even though Star Wars is a huge part of my life. I don't stick with, you know, actually, I haven't done anything Star Trek, which is kind of funny because Star Trek was always a big part of my life too. But those things, so so nature, that's just how you were raised, right? And now, were you raised on a reservation, around the reservation?
Near, not on. The funny part is my dad, who's the one that's actually native, has never lived on a res, but my mom, who's the Irish side of me, has twice, 2 different reservations. So I've never lived on the res, but I've always lived near it, and I've always had to deal with the reservation system and interact with it constantly as a child. So I still had that in my upbringing, but it wasn't every day, constant, every moment.
So what is your favorite thing to do? Is it drawing? Is it painting? Is it photography?
It's actually kind of hard to pick on that, but I think my favorite thing to do is actually more just about the experience of working. And right now, I think the drawing and painting are going to, and drawing, painting, and photography, those are the three things that I'm most stuck with, because with the photography, I'm hiking, I'm out in nature, I'm getting away from the city, I'm getting away from everything that stresses me, and I'm interacting with something I love, something that's precious to me. With the painting and drawing, I can pull myself into my little space, my little corner, so to speak, throw aside all the pontifications of society, the stresses of the world, all the little just crap, go into a little zened out, benign little space and just let my mind flow with color theories and relax.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of either and or, you know?
Yeah. I have gone more to photography over the years. I'm a big black and white type guy. I love black and white.
I struggle with black and white because my eyes are really light sensitive, and so colors are extremely vivid to me, just like everything's really bright to me. And so when I try to do black and whites, I struggle with seeing the shading and the lines right.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done a few, and they've gotten well reviewed from people. I've sold copies of them, but it's not my push, you know?
Mm-hmm. With me, black and white. Okay, so I don't even know if they still have it. I'm sure they do. They have a copy of it at least. Actually, I think they have the original. So the local art museum here had a photo exhibit in the museum for a while. That and this is years ago, like back when I was in high school. I took photography in high school, and I was on this trip one time, and I was at taking some college courses at Purdue University, and I came out of the quad that it was a 4-building quad of of dorms that I was staying in. I came out and I saw this kid sitting on a fence, and the way that the time of day, the light, the tree that was next to them and everything was perfect. Like there was a tree in the picture up front of the person. The fence went like curved around because it was like an oval courtyard in the middle, and the kid was sitting on that, and the light was behind the tree coming down, and it was just like this circle around the tree, the person, the fence, and the part, it just right there. And the black and white of it made everything look perfect. And I just came out and saw it, and I took a picture of it, and that got put into the art museum. But it's like things black and white, I think, says much more about things than color, because shading and light is shown much better in black and white than in color.
I think I've heard a lot of people say that. For me, it's not. I think it's just because of my eyes. I see shading and the light really well in the color, but again, I realize my eyes aren't normal, so you know.
Yeah, it all depends. I mean, everybody has their facet or their outlet that they like better than anything else, I think. Like I said, I hate pictures myself. I don't like taking pictures, but I love taking pictures. I don't like to be in them. And it's kind of weird.
I hate being in pictures. I hate people looking at me, which is funny considering what we do.
Yeah, well, you see, this doesn't bother me. Moving pictures doesn't bother me per se. I just think that photo, that 5 seconds of time that stops, it's like you look at it from forever and ever, and it's like, oh, I hate that. It's just, I just see that. Let's say hi to some of these people in the chat. We have Riot Kitty.
Riot Darling.
We have Deranged Lunatic. We have Fallon Reacts and Kathia. Hello all. How you doing? Hope you are.
Blessed. Hope
you guys are all doing well tonight. And you all know who this is, obviously. I've seen several of you say hi. What drove you to YouTube? Because I mean, this is a different facet from art. It's a form of art, I think. Because when you do this stuff, I mean, I guess everybody that's in the chat right now does something on YouTube. And so they understand that when you go into it, yeah, sometimes we just go onto a stream and just start yapping. Let's just be honest. Sometimes that's what we do.
Sometimes we're just wanting to BS with friends, and someone say, "Hey, come on in, let's have some fun." That's what I was doing last night. Yeah. Tom said, "Hey, I'll talk to you," and I went, "Hey, cool." And then once both of us were there, we started letting other people know so we could BS.
Yeah, and but sometimes you got to put thought into it. You got to be like, okay, so what am I doing this on? What do I need to know about it?
My
like
art streams.
Yeah, like if I do a reaction of any sort, I like to tell people who the people are in it. Unless it's like this week, I'll be doing I did my Fast 9 reaction for Fast and Furious 9. Okay. And basically what I say in there is I was like, well, you know who's in this: Vin Diesel, John Cena's in this one. Michelle Rodriguez. I'm like, if you haven't seen them, then you don't care, and you don't know who's in it. But if you've seen them, you know who's in these. I mean, it's like, sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to even bother telling you who's in it, because if you haven't seen it.
Going back to the question you were asking, because I'm going to lose track of what you asked in a minute here. Sorry.
What brought you into YouTube? Why YouTube?
Well, I've always been a bit cut off because I can handle nature well, but I'm when it comes to interacting with people, on that side of agoraphobic. And I freak out in crowds and stuff, so I've always been kind of cut off. Because if I'm not with my husband or
you
family,
freak out in crowd?
What? Yeah, you don't know that at all, right?
Oh, I don't.
You're laughing so hard right now. You have to take a drink to cover it up.
No, I'm not laughing. If I was laughing, I would have choked on the water.
You know very well I freak out in crowds. But I've always been very much in the agoraphobic side of that. And so I've always been kind of cut off in the house here, unless I was out of the city, in which case I'm still cut off on my own usually, because my husband's working, my family's 900 miles away. So I was goofing around and signed on to computer because I was studying different art techniques, and it pulls up this video of Star Wars girl working on a Yoda painting. And okay, I watched that. I made a comment to it. She responded friendly. So I bounced around some of her videos to see what else she said and did, and thought, hey, finally found somebody who actually agrees with me that this modern crap is just that crap. And so then it pulls up a suggestion on one of her videos to go to Mecca. And from there, it snowballed because Mecca started telling me people to go to and introducing me to people in the community. And it just pulled all this in, and it's like, at least I found a place where I could have a voice. And I kept thinking about it, and I don't have this voice anywhere else because of my issues. And so it's like, well, I can at least have my voice here.
Why do you think that is? I mean, because I know let's put it this way. I know a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of different creators and stuff. And I know we all do. But what I wonder is I talk to a lot of these people, and it's, I have this problem. But what's funny is YouTube seems to be a place where people can be braver, if that's a word to use for it. I don't want to make it sound like the issues or the disabilities or whatever you want to call it that people have are lighter than anything. But it really seems like YouTube makes it really easy to get past a lot of that.
Well, again, it goes to, I guess, most of the people that are online, we tend to be part of different types of nerd. Nerds is a general, with the higher IQ that comes with it, usually also comes other limitations, either physically or mentally, because life is a balance. Our bodies only handle so much. That's just how it is. And so we've always kind of had this point where we were kind of more ostracized in society. And so I think that being online here, for those of us who've had all these issues, who've been through all this, who've been bullied, been abused, gone through all these mental stuff, or have these disabilities, it's a place where we can find somebody to talk to who can empathize, who can understand, who had similar experiences.
Yeah. Sith said YouTube is group therapy, and then Riot says there is a point to be made in regards to that. And it's absolutely true. I tell people all the time, and I've told you this too, is that I feel kind of bad at times because I'm not positive if I have these issues. I don't know if I have anxiety. I don't know if I have any sort of depression because I just kind of keep going. That's just how I've always done it. That's how my dad taught me. And so, yeah, maybe it's that blindness to whatever it could be. But having an outlet like this, even for me, I talk a lot. I like to talk about things.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah, I know. But this does help quench that bit of that, and it helps say things I'd like to say. Like I can't go to work and talk exactly about, let's say if I'm talking Star Wars, nobody there cares. Nobody wants to listen. But if I tell them I'm on this and they want to listen, that's fine.
Nobody wants to listen. Hey, I'm sure there's moments you've had that feeling in every group, right? Sorry, I just couldn't resist this right now.
I don't ever let anything get to me. I just don't. It's not the. It's an F the world type thing. I really could care less. But I
absolutely get it.
I enjoy, like Sith said, that group therapy and stuff. And Sean, I could use StreamYard's green screen, but I've seen that it has mixed effects. So I stick with my old tried and true, and I will stick with this until a certain unnamed person comes back over here and helps me finish my set so I don't have to use a green screen, because I would like to use practical set pieces rather than a green screen. But I won't mention who that person is, Sean. So
I have to point out that Sith says, "Oh my God, Chris, shut up."
Do what? I just saw it. It's behind on here, so
it always is. But I always have multiple monitors going, so anyway, I just lost our train of thought.
No, I'm typing to Sean. But,
I don't know what you asked me at the beginning of that. I don't remember anymore.
I was just, we were talking about the group therapy thing, the ability to go on camera with, okay, so if you don't mind if I go into a little background on what I've noticed when I met you.
Oh, goody.
It's up to you. I won't say it if you don't want me to.
Go for it. Go for it. It's already been said anyways.
Well, yeah. Okay. So you came to my work and you came to, I told you to go to the Signature Bar, which is one of the bars on our casino floor. I told her to go there and I'd be there as soon as I could. And when I got there, there's this person kind of huddled in a high back chair, or in a, the taller chairs at a bar. And she's huddled in the chair, hiding behind her purse with her head in her purse, literally in her purse. And I knew it was her, but I go up and I say hi, and half of that conversation.
No, you did not say hi. You said you don't have to look like a caged animal.
That's true. I said you don't have to look like a caged animal because you did look like a caged animal. But half that conversation, you spoke into your purse. Yet here, you don't do that. You see, that's kind of the thing I'm saying is that it's really amazing. Because here's the thing. No matter how many people are watching, which right now is only 10, but even if you're on, I mean, have you been on Odin's or...
I go on Odin every month with Valhalla.
Okay.
I've been on with Star Wars Girl when she had almost 1,000 in the audience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Think
I
about
freaked out on that one. She had to put me off camera, just mic'd for a while because I was freaking out at the beginning.
Okay, see, but the thing is that doesn't stress me out. However many people are watching, it doesn't stress me out if it's 1,000, if it's 2, if it's 5. It doesn't stress me out, and it doesn't stress me out in person either. Though that's the thing. So I'm not the. It could be here, it could be there, it could be anywhere. I deal with people every day. I deal with thousands of people a week, if not more. But on here, you have this ability to not have that shutdown. Why do you think that is?
Well, I have had that shut down a few times, and I was a freaking mess the first few times I streamed. But the biggest issue with me is actually being in crowds. I have some of the bashful issues and shy issues, and I have two modes in my life. I have either bravado, hellion, in your face, biatch mode, or I have absolutely cowed crate than hiding little wallflower.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in person with people, it tends to fall to the latter. When I am in a place where I feel safe, like my home or something, I can more rest on the first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much of an in-between stage.
Okay.
So.
But does this and does art and photography, does all of that help with this? Does it calm that down? Is it something you can get lost in? Because that's the thing. I can come down here and I can work on videos. I can work on music. I can work on a lot of different things, editing, whatever. And I could come down here like on Mondays. I'm off on Mondays. I was down here at 8 this morning, and I looked up at 2 o'clock and realized, oh, I got to get up and I got things I got to do. I lost that 6 hours just not thinking about it.
I've been known to make myself kind of sick because I'll start working in the middle of the night, and the next thing I know, my husband's coming home from work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
no, I mean literally like working like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and he's coming home from work at 7 p.m. the next day.
Yeah, no. But that's what I'm saying is like, does it in a way make you forget about those issues? Not, do they kind of go away at time? I mean, I understand at times.
Always has in my art some, and I think when I'm here, it does, especially when I'm doing my art streams, when I'm sitting there and I'm drawing for people and I'm painting for people and I'm talking to them about artistic theories. I'm sharing photography. That world I can get lost in, and I'm focused on the art. I don't think about that there's people watching or anything else. Or and they can get through things easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about that balance to me.
Mm-hmm. No, that's I mean, again, I don't know. And maybe again, because I don't think about it. But when I'm on here, this is a place I can be fairly natural in the way I am. I tell people, I don't really have an ego. I have a personality that likes to act egotistical. It's not to hide anything. It's just I like the reaction I get from people. I like the thought of, people are like, oh my God, you got such a huge ego. I'm like, yeah, sure, I do. You know it. I'm the most excellent person in the world. I like doing that, but I feel like I'm more of a caricature. Is that the same cat as the other day?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, obviously, it wants to be on screen. It's like, hello.
She's old and she's decided that if she wants attention, she's going to get it.
Uh-huh. She didn't look like she's old when she was jumping up.
She's 16 with kidney issues and arthritis.
Oh, wow. Well, she doesn't act like it. She doesn't act her age.
No, she doesn't. Sorry about that.
So,
she's kind of derailing things here. She's really good at that.
So, I like the caricature side of things. I like playing up to what people may think. I mean, I think most people by now probably know I'm not. I hope they know I'm not egotistical. Sean's going to totally disagree with that, probably. But I don't know. This is a place you can go to be bigger than who you are, I guess. It's fun to be on screen, and like for me, I can go on screen, talk about the things I want to talk about, and say what I want to say. I'm not held by a work who may tell me you got to keep, you got to be in this box here. You can't talk about anything outside of that box. You can't say this, can't say that. I can stay in this box at work, but when I get home from work, I can be out here. and that's why I like YouTube personally.
I kind of like the fact that you can do things here that really you can't elsewhere in society. There really isn't another place in this culture, in this society we have right now, where you can sit there and draw for 3 hours and talk to people about the lines as you're making each one, and they'll actually sit there enthralled and talk to you and interact with you about it. You know?
Everybody says that, Fallon. Fallon says that I'm less egotistical, but you are an intense personality.
I think it's a nice way for her to say that you're not full ego, but you are a pain in the ass.
I'm an only child. I'll admit to it. I saw this countdown on it's called The List or whatever. It's a YouTube channel, but it's I caught it on Snapchat on one of their little quick things, you know, whatever. And it was the top 10 worst pains. And no, I was not number one before you say it.
I was going to say number 2. I don't think you're number 1 quite.
No, number 2 is childbirth. But what's funny about
every woman I know that's actually had multiple kids has actually said that that's blown out of proportion compared to some of the other things they've been through.
This one says it's due to a lot of different things, but it said it was number 2. And in there was a thing that had a quick scroll, and you had to screenshot to find a apology for your mom, and mine said, "Mom, I'm sorry that you were in so much pain, and I probably wasn't worth it." And I was like, "That's just so."
Mine would be, "Mom, I'm sorry I had a bowling ball head, but you're the one who married a native guy."
But, I don't know. See, I don't do the drawing and stuff on screen. So when you do something like that, are you looking for people to be on with you that can kind of carry the stream for you as you work, or are you looking to talk while doing it?
I kind of like a little of both. I like people to interact with and talk to, and I don't have to talk the whole time if I get sucked into a moment. But I also like showing it, the process. I like people seeing how each little line defines the next one and all that. I think that there's some value to that.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing videos of you going out and doing photography?
I did one stream of that.
Okay. Well, I'm not talking about streams.
I need to do some videos, but it's quite complicated as I don't have a lot of tech. And I'm usually using the cameras for the photos. Okay. So I'm trying to, along this trip I'm going to be going on, since I now have the 4K camera, I'm going to be trying to get some clips of the stuff I'm photographing while I do it. It's at least something a little more interactive.
Yeah.
Seriously, Jazzy?
Well, you're just there to please her. So she's just like, I'm going to stay here. Right there. She's looking down like, I might leave. I might. Nope.
No, I'm going to lick your glasses.
Does she do that?
Yes, she just did.
Oh. Now she's just sitting there. She's like, okay, I'm comfortable. This works. The cat is nuts.
All of my cats are nuts. How do you think they ended up with me? I mean,
well, I didn't say that. You did, so thank you.
I rescued her as a few-week-old kitten that was all beat up and cold when I was in college.
Where at?
Up in Idaho.
Idaho. Where in Idaho?
In a crappy city, and I'll leave it at that.
No, you can't. You got to tell us where. Where'd you go to school? What was the school?
No.
What, you think people are going to find out who you are and where you're at?
No, I just don't want to think about that stupid city.
Okay. So,
anyway.
No.
Besides, I left college because I thought it was boring and mundane. So.
It is boring and mundane.
Go on, Kitty. Go on.
She's like, okay.
No, I did not say stick your butt in my face.
Cats like to do that, though. See, the cat's trying to keep it up there. I'm like, here. You don't want me to, but I'm going to. But
no, I mean, I rescued her when she's a few weeks old. I got my other one I got because my brother rescued a pregnant stray, and then the last one I got because I was the only person she let near her in the shelter, and she was there because they found her after she was thrown from a moving car on the highway. So my babies are rescues.
What would you say your biggest absolute thing that drives you, besides being told you couldn't do something? Is it now you saying, I know I can do this, so I want to go farther with it? Or is it something about, well, let's bring up last night. I don't want to go too far into this, but all the trolls. I know a lot of people that have trolls, and it's like all these idiots out there that like to say things. And knock on wood, I have yet to have to deal with that. But
well, if you keep tweeting out, tagging me in it, the ones that have been harassing me will find you.
I could care less. They can do what they want. But Fallon, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you coming. Deranged, hello, how are you doing?
But
what is it that really drives you, though?
I love to create.
Okay.
And so, with the stuff I paint and I build and stuff like that, I love to find things that are broken, and I love to give them new life and make them beautiful again. And I think there's something spiritual to that, as somebody who believes in a higher being and second chances. And I love to create something that will make somebody happy, whether it's jewelry, whether it's painting, whether it's drawing, whether it's an interaction or a video. I want to make people see something that inspires them, cheers them, gives them beauty in their life, or gives them meaning to something.
Go ahead.
So really what it is I like to create something that will make the world better for somebody else.
Okay. When you do that, like, okay, so when you paint, are you thinking, when you start painting, do you start with thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this for somebody in particular, or are you just going and saying, I'm going to paint something and I know somebody will like it?
Depends on the mood. I've done both.
Okay.
The ones that you picked, I had no intention of anything when I did them other than, hey, this might be a good idea. Let's see how this works out doing it on stream. Okay. So that's how those were made. But there's some I picked plans ahead of time for what I'm doing. The drawings are very much aimed and specific to cheer people up, to make people happy, to connect people in the different communities I'm in and give them something to enjoy. And I'm making them for different people because I like those people and I think they deserve something to uplift them.
That's cool.
Which is why yours isn't done yet. I mean,
yeah. Well, speaking of that, why don't you show some of these people that are here what you have been working on lately?
Well, I'm not going to do the comic yet because I'm still figuring things out on that. But I've been doing the drawings of the people I interact with who've been uplifting to me. And speaking of which, Sith, you need to send me a photo for this because you are going to get one. But the first one I did was for Mecca last year, and I don't have that one anymore, unfortunately. I just sent it to her. But I did, and then I didn't do it anymore for a while because I was having trouble making myself want to work and trying to find inspiration to do things and stuff like that. But then recently I came up with doing Jessie. Because she's been a really good friend to me quite a bit since I got to talk to her last fall, and she's reached out to me a lot and done all this other stuff for me. And so she's absolutely been there for me. So I did that one for her. And then I was thinking about, well, who is it that makes me laugh, who's been really sweet to me every time I've interacted with her at all? So the next one I did was Darth. And again, made her happy, made her cheery, made her feel good. Did Ruthie.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
And then the one I just finished yesterday was for the drunken droid.
Drunk 3PO.
Who, for all the crap I give him, and I give him a lot of crap. Yes, I do.
Everybody gives drunk a lot of crap.
He's really actually been really nice to me for quite a bit. And I love the fact that he does so much to help kids out in need. So I'm always trying to donate when I can to him and stuff like that. And so this was kind of a little gift to him for that.
Yeah, I actually have a campaign on GoFundMe for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital that I've been running for since I was at like 200 subs to try to get money to them up until the time I get to 1,000 subs. I decided that that while I was going from sub count to sub count, whatever I decided, I was going to raise money for something like that. And it goes directly there. I mean, it doesn't go to me in any way, shape, or form. What's funny is nobody's donated. And I don't understand that. I'm like, I'm trying to do good here. If you're interested, those of you who are watching, check out down in the description below. There are 2 GoFundMes, and both of those you can donate to. But with Drunk, the funny thing is with Drunk. Okay, so I first started doing this with Sean in little bits and pieces, and then Sean introduced me to Mary, and Mary and actually I introduced myself to Mary Mayhem, who in one of Sean's tweets, she was mentioning something about The Last Jedi, and I jumped in and I said, well, wait a minute. I was like, you know, I was talking about how I like The Last Jedi and all that. And her and I went into a conversation for a little bit on there. Okay, whatever. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is we had a conversation. And at the end of it, she's like, you were really nice. You didn't call me a name. You didn't do this. You didn't say that about it. You know, you brought up your points. You stuck to your guns, but you didn't call me a name. You didn't say this or you didn't say that. So we went and we did a stream together on her channel. And this is back when she probably had 200 subs. So this is how long ago it is. And we talked about it. And then she used to do these things where she'd have people come on and roast people. So we had Stieg, we had Thomas, we had Drunk on there. We had a whole bunch of people come in and talk to me. A Sith, Sith Kryptonian was on there. A lot of people were on there. I think Black Angus came on there. Ton of people who now have much bigger channels than they did back then. But what's funny is that was my first stream. So actually, I'm up to 818 or so. Hold on. It jumped again past few days. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back here and look at what I'm trying to do. 822 is where I'm at. So I'm happy with that. I've only been doing this for just a little under a year, like really putting time towards it. So, so
going back to what we're talking about, inspiration.
Yeah.
Inspiration is desire to want to do something. I keep going back because you were talking about the differences with color and black and white. And I think it depends on the eye of the artist too, how well they can make it pop out. And I thought of it one of the best ways I can think of to express that would be to actually show 2 separate pictures of the same swan that were from different events I was doing. So I'll try to do that as a way to make it clear for you. And Sith has seen these, but I'll kind of use them as an example of what I'm saying. If you do color right, you can see the shading, you can see the lighting, you can see the 3-dimensional. You have the screen share now.
Yeah, I know. Hold on.
And
5 things.
You can really see the light shine and the personality of the image if you do it right.
Yeah, but to me, I still think black and white would be much nicer than that.
Here's the thing. This is an example point here. This one, because of how it was angled, because of how it was done, you can see the shadow coming down the swan. You can see the water burst coming. You can see it trail backwards into the light. So it really gives you the 3D angle and you still see the shadowing. Whereas depending on how people do it, they won't. Because some people, they just look and go, well, it looks like it does in real life, so it's going to be good enough. They don't think about how I angle the camera, how I do things. Is it going to make those shadows that I see in real life come out? With black and white, you can have the same effect, but this is the only one I actually think came out well out of the black and whites I tried.
But that's not black and white. That's
actually, it is. It's just a faded one.
Well, it's I can't remember if it's
No, Tepi has got more amber in it.
Well,
this is technically a black and white setting, but it's a grayed out one. So it doesn't go as dark.
Yeah, but you see, the only way I would do that is I would have had 2 different cameras, or if nowadays I'm still a film nut. That's how old school I am about this stuff. I still know I know how to develop my own film and all of that. I mean,
I can't do that with my breathing, so I have to have the
well, I understand that, but with digital, on that case, I'd take that photo and I would switch to a black and white and do the same picture twice. Basically, that's the only way I would do it, because I don't know if you can actually, with that being in a field and the other being in water, I think that's 2 different settings. I don't think you can compare a true photo of 2 different things without it being the same basic thing or in the same basic setting.
The problem with doing that with nature photography is very rarely do you get the same poses or basic settings very often. There's always variances, there's always differences, there's always things changing as you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I also think, where the difficulty in the nature photography stuff is, because it's such a moving field. It's such a place that's constantly changing. You can see all kinds of things. You also have to have an eye for, there's no way I'm going to capture that. That's just going to take time if I try to stop and capture that, because there's no possible way it's going to physically be able to be caught right.
You see, I would love to have a camera that would tell me, like, I could set up, I'm going to take, I know you can do quick snaps on a lot of cameras. I would love to have a camera that I say, if I take quick snaps, if I set it to do a quick snap, like if it's like 2 quick punches on the capture button or something like that. A lot of these big expensive cameras, you can set them up to do certain things, but I'd like to know if you could set it up to do, like he says, the first 7 pictures are black and white, the next 7 are color. But what it'll do is it'll take them within a 10-second period.
Most digitals do have a setting now where what they call it is artistic mode, where when you take a picture, once you zoom and focus and all that, it will go between like 5 to 8 different random artistic modes from within the camera and take them all at once.
Okay. Yeah.
That's, most digital cameras have that now, especially if you use Canon.
I think I have a Samsung, but I have I'd have to yell at my kid.
I'd have to look at the camera because I'm really good. That's the only technology I can really quickly figure out is a camera.
Hold on just a second here.
This is now when I've taken over, and now I get to reveal how big of a pain in the arse he really is. You want to talk about blah, 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 blah.
I was here the whole time. I didn't move. I
know. I didn't think I said it.
Yeah, check the private chat there in this shindig here.
I already commented on that. You're really not paying attention.
Didn't even send it to me. It's like this thing is not giving me any sort of notifications today.
Better?
I didn't get anything other than that.
But no, I mean, it's all about driving force, and for that, it always comes back to I can't work normal jobs. I can't do normal things. I have all the medical issues. I want to do things that'll help people. I want to raise funds to help the inner city. I want to contribute to society, and my art's the way I can do that.
That's my baby.
I'll have to see it in person. Look at all the dials.
It's a Canon. It's old school. I mean, does it have filming?
But
okay. Yeah, no, I mean,
anyway, I was on a train of thought, and it's derailing. But I can't work normal jobs. The things I wanted to do the most, I had to leave. I loved carpentry because it was physical and it was artistic and intellectual. That's why I was studying architecture when I was in college. But I can't physically do it anymore. So I moved on to other things. I kept moving on to things because my medical kept preventing this. And then soon I couldn't do that either. And I was 24 when they completely banned me from working any day-to-day job because I can't consistently go in because of my medical. So I hit a point where I can't do those things. I have to do something for myself because I can set the hours and time. And with the kind of medical issues I have, it's still very restrictive because I can't breathe around a lot of perfumes or crowds. I have the anxieties, and it had to come down to something I could do and control myself. Because I may now, yes, I work for myself, so I still work for a complete and utter total pain in the arse, watch, but it's one that I know how to work with.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, where's the other one? Sorry, my son's here. And then there's this one I think this one still works, doesn't it? No, this is the parts camera. Okay, yeah. So as any good photographer who does film, you have a parts camera and you have your actual camera. This is really old school. I mean,
I still think next time we're over there, we have to do some zoo time together with photography.
oh sure. If I can find any place I can actually buy film anymore that I want to use.
I have 2 cameras I carry on me. I can let you use one. I have extra
like
memory cards.
I don't like digital.
Try it.
No, you know, digital is nothing but pixels. The cool thing about this is it's fluid. It's on the same way with music. CDs are pixels, basically. They're chopped up pieces of music. And then on top of that, records are fluid movement in one huge part. Thank you. See the telescopic. Yeah. Yeah. Oh Jesus!
Don't look at Twitter. Don't look at Twitter. Don't look at Twitter.
Here.
What did you do?
I didn't do it. Pop culture did.
Oh, what did he do? I have not seen.
He commented on the.
Oh Jesus! Okay, interesting. All right, that's my telescope.
Sorry, I got very distracted for a sec.
No.
Anyway, that's the big thing with me. And I love my photography. And you can insult digital all you want, but it's the only way I could ever afford to do what I do. And it's the only way I could do it with my issues, too, because there's no way I could sit there and try to roll films and canisters and stuff with my hands.
Yeah, I do all that. But, no, do you see I've got a bunch of lenses for this thing. I used to have a bunch of filters and stuff too. I'm gonna have to say to him,
I take cash payments if you want your camera back because it was given to me.
yeah, not by anybody that could give it to you.
By my mother.
Yeah, it wasn't hers to give you.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't work like
I
that.
hold it
This is so professional here.
What? My argument with my son? How long are you going to do that for? I can sit here for a couple more minutes.
I don't know. Whenever I try to talk to you, you start talking to him.
Well, because he's mouthing off as a teenager does.
So do I need to deal with him when I come over there?
It's whatever.
Anyway, no.
Well,
it's what I love because it's what I can do, especially with my limitations. I can sit here with some paintbrushes and I can work on paintings, which isn't finished yet, but I'm getting there.
no, it only has 3 branches.
Yeah, it's still growing. Right now, it looks like some sort of weird phallic unicorn horn.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I should not have said growing and phallic in the same sentence.
On that note, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you. Tell us what's coming up for you, anything like that. If you got some streams coming up, let everybody know about you. Go ahead.
All right. This is kind of what you see is what you get. I do mostly art streams, some interviews, and some discussion panels. Trying to set up some monthly panels that are going to be kind of interesting, but that's still in discussion and deciding. So we'll see how that goes. Rosetta Allen here at YouTube is pretty easy to find.
There's somebody that comes up before you, though.
Well, not if you actually go up there and do the little channel thing and then just type Rosetta Allen instead of all the numbers.
I don't type in all the numbers. I type in youtube.com space, and it lets me search YouTube, and I put your name in there, and a person comes up before you by the same name.
You're going to be a real pain in the neck.
Being honest, what, you think I'm just saying that to make you? Now, if you search your computer, since you are yourself, it'll probably find you first.
Here, I will drop the freaking link so you can quit complaining.
No, it's down. It's down in the description. I have the link.
I know, but it makes it easier, so I quit trying to say it.
Oh well.
I'm at Tiris S Moon on Twitter, and if don't go there if you can't handle a lot of language. Same for my live streams.
Language? You? No.
Not at all.
No. I mean, they wouldn't tell by this stream, that's for sure. But then again, if they listened to us before we started the stream, there was quite a bit of effing, F this, F that.
Hey, you said some of them.
Oh, I did. I said there was quite a bit. I said I did not say who. I just said there's.
I know.
Guys, go check out Rosetta on her on Twitter and her YouTube. Definitely, she's always willing to show you what she's working on. She's doing a lot of these YouTube personalities, drawings and stuff like that. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Interviewing Mr. As fandom would know, I'm George B.D. Lucas tomorrow night. And hopefully a couple others this week. Still working on setting them up, but other than that, videos and streams and stuff will be limited after that until the end of March because of travel and other stuff. So,
yeah.
If you want to spend time with me, do it quick while I'm still around.
Speaking of your interviews and stuff, you just interviewed a fairly big personality in the entertainment world.
Last Thursday.
Yeah, and who was that?
Robert Meyer Burnett. The link is still up in my wall on my YouTube there. It was an extremely nerdy Star Trek conversation on both ends with a bit of history, other movies, and other cultures and genres thrown in.
Definitely go check that out. I hope to have him over here for one of these or in general a live stream. In fact, he's one of the few people out there that I actually would like to have on a regular basis. So I'd like to start out with this like I did with John Celestri and continue from there. But we'll get to that at a later time. Guys, thank you for watching tonight. Just remember to go to my Twitter to have a chance to win these books if I get to 1,000 subs by April 20th or April 12th, 2020. If you help me get to 1,000 subs by that time and you go to my Twitter at chrisknight5150 and you like and retweet my pinned post, your name will go on the wheel of names, which, see if I even have it up here right now.
And yeah, I sent that out to help you, but make sure my name's not on it because I have them and I don't want to take it from someone else.
Well, if your name's on there, I'll make sure I take it off. Let's see here. We're going to have to go here first off. My computer wants to be stupid right now. Don't you dare say a word there, Rosetta. I hear the wheels turning in your head that say, I have something very interesting I could say right now.
Actually, the only reason that it just blurred out because I can't censor is because so many thoughts came in my head at once, didn't know which to say.
Well, that's good because it took time, and that means I was able to tell you not to. First off, guys, if you're interested, this is the current wheel of names for the giveaway. There's over 90 names on there, and if you're on there, I will make sure I take you off. But we got Sith on there. We got a bunch of people on this.
Yeah, one of my friends I saw even retweeted it from a different community I'm in.
Yeah, there's like, well, this current impetus of the tweet has 80 some odd plus. I haven't looked at it today, but it has a ton of people on there. The one before it had about 30 or 40, and those people went on here. And this, I have it set up so it won't repeat the names. So, let's go here, though. This right here is my fabulous wheel of names. This is what started it all. So if you've seen it on Han Star's channel, if you've seen it on Mary Mayhem's channel, if you've seen it on whoever else's channel in this community, I started it. Blame it on me. This is the Wheel of Names. This is how we pick who's going to be on next week. And next week I will be back, so we will have this again. This week we will not have the weekly Rumble because I will be out of town. I will have normal videos up tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and I will have the weekly wrap-up on Friday night. But today, this is the video for today. We will do the standard videos tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, and like I said, the weekly wrap-up on Friday. Hello, Ancient One. How are you? Okay, so let's spin this wheel and see where we are. Ancient One needs to get with me on Twitter so we can schedule a time to do our Gospel According to Chris that I have him for. I have 3 that I currently am trying to reschedule. One with him, one with Stephen Walton Jr., and one with Gospel According to Mark with C. So I have 3 of those that we're still working on. We'll get to those. But next week, we're spinning to see who's going to be on possibly next week. Guys, understand that this always is dependent on people's schedule. Because I have some people on here who have been around for a long time. And look at that.
Anthony!
I was wondering when Anthony would get picked.
Yay, Anthony!
We will remove Anthony and we will put him on the new Wheel of Names. The new Wheel of Names is where everybody who's been on the show has gone. You are on there now. And Burke, if Comics Presents is now on the new Wheel of Names. So we will save that. Save. Okay. So with that said, Anthony, I will get with him. We'll see if he's available next week. Guys, thank you very much for watching today. I appreciate all of you who are in the chat. You guys are awesome. Rosetta, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you won't laugh when I tease you.
I know. I was just going to say, we all have a good time with each other. If you can't take ribbing, if you can't take a good roast on with this group of people, then you don't belong here. We all do it to each other at different times. So with that said, guys, everybody have a good day. Wave awkwardly for just a second. There you go.
Hey guys, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Minutes. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute. And you can also send us an email at sean@seanstackhousereacts.com and chrisknight@therealreview3000.com. And be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.